Welcome. Today, we're stepping into the world of ancient Egypt, a world filled with gods, but far from peaceful. This isn't a story about power. It's a story about control, fear, and the mistakes that followed. Ra, Horus, and Anubis. When even the gods fail to protect order, who pays the price? Let's take a closer look. In ancient Egypt, the gods didn't worship each other. Most of the time, they were wary of one another. That sounds strange at first, because we're always told that gods are perfect, all-knowing, always in control. But once you really step into Egyptian mythology, a very different picture appears. Everyone has a role in this world, but no one is truly at ease, because the greatest fear isn't death. The greatest fear is the collapse of order. And this order isn't symbolic. Think of it like a law, invisible but binding, even for the gods. Let's start this story with Anubis. Anubis is usually called the god of death, but that's an incomplete definition. Anubis doesn't deal with death itself. He governs what begins after death. When someone dies, the story doesn't end. That's when the real story begins. The body enters a ritual. It's washed, opened. The organs are removed one by one. But the heart stays. Because to the Egyptians, the heart isn't just an organ. It carries the weight of everything a person has done. Memories, fears, regrets, all of it lives there. Anubis's role is very clear. Preparation. If the body isn't prepared correctly, the soul loses its way. If the ritual is incomplete, there is no return. Anubis doesn't shout. He doesn't threaten, but he doesn't forgive either. That's why people feared Anubis, because in his domain, there is no emotion, only outcomes. Keep that in mind, because in a moment, you'll see why this scale is unsettling even for gods. Now let's talk about Ra. Ra stands at the center of the Egyptian pantheon. He is the sun itself, the source of light. But when you look closely at Ra's stories, one thing becomes clear. Ra's real obsession isn't the sun. It's control. Every morning, Ra rises across the sky. But at night, he descends into the underworld. And that journey is not safe. Every night, Ra passes through darkness. He fights chaos. The sun rising again the next day is never guaranteed. So even Ra has to survive every single day. And that's exactly why, when Ra begins to age, the balance starts to shift. People begin to whisper, Ra isn't the same anymore. Ra is growing weak. To Ra, this isn't just gossip. It's a threat to order. Ra gathers the other gods. But this isn't a council of wisdom. It's a moment of panic. And here, Ra makes his first major mistake. Instead of asking why people are speaking, he chooses to silence them. Humanity will be punished. Ra doesn't descend himself. He sends a force. Its arrival is brutal. Stories describe people running, hiding, but no one escapes. The ground turns red with blood, and Ra watches. This is one of Ra's greatest failures. At first, he doesn't intervene. He waits. Only when he realizes this isn't punishment anymore, but annihilation, does fear set in. But by then, it's too late. Ra tries to stop it, but it doesn't stop, because the force he unleashed no longer listens. And Ra makes his second great mistake. He can't find a divine solution, so he turns to a human one. Beer dyed red. It's poured across the land. At sunrise, it looks like blood. The force sees it, believes it's blood, and drinks. It becomes drunk, slows down, and finally collapses. That's how the massacre ends. But what's done is done. The dead don't return. Ra withdraws, becomes more cautious. But the order he protected is no longer as solid as before. And this is where Horus enters the story. Horus is born into an empty throne, into murder, into fracture. The throne is vacant. And in Egypt, a vacant throne means chaos. Horus grows. He hides. He prepares. And one day, he steps forward. but his first attempts fail. He loses. He retreats. This matters because Horus doesn't win right away. The conflict drags on. There are battles. There are tricks. There is humiliation. In one clash, Horus's eye is shattered. That moment is iconic for a reason. Because the eye isn't just an eye. It represents legitimacy, vision, the image of the rightful king. The eye is restored. It becomes a symbol. People carry it as an amulet. But behind that symbol, there is loss. There is blood. Here lies Horus's greatest mistake. While trying to restore order, he damages it even further. He believes war can grant legitimacy, but war only creates winners. It doesn't create order. The conflict grows so severe that the gods form a court. Literally, who is right? Who should rule? Horus is questioned, doubted, and Horus realizes something crucial. Winning isn't enough. You have to convince everyone. But this realization comes too late, because by then, many are already dead, and the story returns to Anubis. Those who died in Ra's destruction, those who died in Horus's wars, all of them arrive before the same scale. Anubis makes no distinctions. He recognizes no heroes, no titles. Everyone is equal. And this is where the real reason the gods feared one another becomes clear. Ra knows he lost control. Horus knows his ambition wounded order, and they all know this truth. Before the scale, there are no privileges. That's why in ancient Egypt, the gods didn't worship one another. They were wary of one another, because they understood something terrifying. The mistake of one god could burn the entire world. And maybe the most unsettling truth of all is this. These gods were reflections of human fear. Fear of losing control, fear of power, fear of judgment, and those fears never disappeared. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more histories.